Welcome to the Business English Podcast, the best place for non-native professionals to learn how to communicate clearly and confidently. My name is Tanya Suarez, and in each episode, you're going to learn specific skills to develop your corporate communication, American pronunciation, and career strategy in order to build the life you deserve. Let's jump right in to part 1. Today I'm going to teach you how to create a powerful presentation introduction. Now, presentations can be intimidating for a lot of people, but for non-native speakers, it definitely presents a unique challenge. Not only do you have to worry about the communication, the strategy, you're probably also worried about your grammar and your pronunciation. So this can create a very overwhelming experience. So something you can do to help yourself so that you can feel more confident is to start with confidence. Really invest time to create a solid introduction so that you can feel the energy from your audience, that they're listening, that they get what you're communicating, and this will help you present much better. First and foremost, one of the most important things to keep in mind when preparing your presentation is that we are all so busy and have way too many meetings. So if your presentation is your PowerPoint, then let's be honest, your presentation could have been an email. And you have been in enough meetings where the presenter just reads off the slides and you think, I could have done that on my own in 5 minutes instead of wasting 30 minutes here. So if you do that, then that means that you're wasting people's time. In order to respect your audience's time and keep their attention, you're going to need to shift your focus from what they need to know to why they will benefit from the information you're presenting. Now listen, your slides can showcase the facts, but you are there to explain the value, to interpret the information. Basically, think about it as what could they not get if they had this information in an email. That's why you're there. So with your introduction, your opening slide, please don't just read the title of the presentation. It immediately sets a really boring tone, and your audience is going to assume you're just going to read off the slides, and they're probably already tuning you out. So the way you engage your audience is by starting off strong. Tell them why the subject is relevant for them. In other words, why should they pay attention to you? If you're not used to presenting in this way, it will take some time and practice, but I promise you it is so worth it. Now, the first thing you need to work on is your mindset. Regardless of your industry or presentation topic, and don't fight me on this yet, you're going to kind of have to get into a sales mentality, especially for your opening. And I don't mean you need to be, if you're in sales, you're probably like, yes, awesome. And if you're not, I find that sometimes sales has a negative connotation and people think, oh, I have to be disingenuous or trick my audience. Not at all. What I mean by this is you really want to be audience focused. You really want to focus on who is listening to you. And I find that creates a very genuine thought process. So think of it this way. Your presentation is your product and your introduction is your sales pitch. So you really have to hook your audience. Now, in my experience coaching presenters, simply asking yourself, why is this relevant or why should they listen to me is never enough. I find that you end up only getting kind of like the next level superficial factual response. And we're going to have to dig deep and really find that why. Now, one way to get to your why is to think about your topic. So think about what's on that first slide. And then you're going to ask yourself the following 3 questions. Number 1, why is this important to them, to your audience? Number 2, what's in it for them? How will they benefit from this? And number 3, how will it impact their work? So these 3 questions I find are a much more effective way to keep pushing yourself and keep digging until you actually find the why. And it's not easy. A lot of times you might think, I'm just presenting data. Like they just need this information. And that's when you have boring presentations. So this is really going to help you break through that. And as a non-native speaker, it's a lot easier and safer. It can feel safer to just read off your slide. And so this is really something, it's a tool I want to give you so that you feel confident about your English and you feel confident about your business presentations because you understand how to prepare for them. Now that you know the questions to ask yourself when you're preparing, let's take a look at an example so you can really understand how doing this will transform your presentation introductions. So for example, before, when you're just focusing on the what, your introduction might sound something like this. Today, I'm going to describe a new process we've developed to expedite shipping. I mean, it's not bad. It's definitely simple, clear, and concise and to the point. But you're here to be better. So to make this even more engaging and more effective, let's take it through the why, the questions. So to identify your why, let's start with why should my audience care? Okay, so if I'm presenting to, let's say, the department heads, faster shipping means better customer reviews. Okay, and this is what I mean that when you just ask yourself why once, you're not going to dig deep enough. So this is okay, but we're not there yet. Okay, great. So better customer reviews. So the next question, what's in it for them? How will they benefit from this? Well, expedited shipping, better reviews, and better reviews means more sales. Okay, we're getting there, almost there, but let's take it to the next question. So how will this impact their work? Okay, well, with better reviews and more sales means they'll need to improve production. So that's something more on the technical side. And then on the direct benefit side, they will also have bigger bonuses at the end of the year. And maybe in this company, with COVID and everything, maybe they had a dip in their bonuses and that was something that was stressful last year. So this would be a really good strategic, uplifting way to motivate them to pay attention. And this is how asking yourself those 3 questions, it just pushes you until you find really strong points. Now let's put it all together and I'm going to show you what it can sound like when you're crafting an engaging opener that combines the what and the why. All right, so let's pretend we have our PowerPoint presentation up. And I would start with, I'm sure you can all agree that we've had some pretty serious issues with our shipping process. I understand that you had concerns regarding the terrible reviews we've received because of these issues and how that has had a negative impact on our sales. Because of that, we've developed a more streamlined shipping process that will ensure better customer satisfaction and help us get our numbers up in time for the year-end bonus. So today I'm going to explain the 3 main components of this new process while highlighting how it will impact each of your departments. So much better, right? Not only are you using a conversational tone, a storytelling tone, it's different than what's on the slide. So immediately people are paying attention because they know they can't just read along with you. And you really approached, in this case, it was very empathetic. It was very understanding of who I'm talking to. It's not just this kind of blanket corporate jargon. It's really taking the time to appreciate who's listening to this presentation. Speaking of storytelling, another way you can make your presentation introduction more engaging is by starting with a poignant question, a relevant quote, or an unexpected story. Of course, that's always relevant to your topic. So after you've identified your why, then you can take some time, especially when you get faster at identifying your why, you can invest some time in really crafting the story, how to engage your audience through something interesting, again, that's not reading directly off your PowerPoint. So for example, we have option 1. You can start off with the basic. Today I'm going to talk about how we can focus our research to better define our target customer. Not bad, right? But let's make it better. So here I'm going to use a quote and a story that ties into this topic. So for option 2, well, my inspiration for this meeting came from a fortune cookie. I ordered some Chinese takeout last week, and when I cracked open the fortune cookie, I felt like it would be the perfect guide for us today. It said, "A man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither." I'm sure you can all agree that we've been trying to speak to too many people, and by doing so, reached none effectively. So today we're going to review our data to identify how we can best focus our message to attract the right buyer and increase our sales. So notice how much more interesting option 2 is. It really gets your attention. And if you can engage your audience from the beginning, imagine how much more effective the rest of your presentation will be. Because remember, you don't want to waste people's time. If you could have emailed the information, you should have, but you're there to lend your expertise, your interpretation, and really highlight what's going to benefit them and what they're going to need to take away from your presentation. With this strategy, instead of dreading presentations, I want you to appreciate them as opportunities to show off your leadership skills. Remember, you're there to add value. And just because English is not your first language does not mean that you can't present clearly and concisely. It will take practice, but remember, short sentence structure, simple sentence structure. This isn't writing a report. So when you're crafting a story, don't worry about perfect grammar. Really think about the feelings that you're evoking. Think about, is a story being told in an interesting and natural way? So don't super focus on, am I saying all of this correctly? Am I pronouncing each word correctly? People are paying attention to the message if you speak confidently and smoothly. If you're speaking too slowly and robotically, they will get bored and start analyzing your right? Like, I'm putting myself to sleep. So the trick is not to speak faster and not to speak super robotically. It's to relax. So breathe, relax your shoulders. Don't worry about the grammar. Of course, prepare, and if you can look it up to make sure it's correct, wonderful. But in the moment, focus on the delivery, how you're speaking. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed and pretend like you're having a conversation with one person instead of presenting to 20 or 100 or however many. So this will really set you apart, and people will take notice of your strong presentation and communication skills. So as you're working on improving your English, or you might think in your mind, my English isn't good enough, I don't know, I'm constantly making mistakes, or I'm really frustrated with prepositions. You already got the job. You are there. You are good enough. Just because we can improve doesn't mean we're not good enough in the moment. So I want you to take that confidence and have fun with it. A great way to get more English speaking practice is to start your own podcast. Spotify for Podcasters makes it so easy to record, edit, and distribute your podcast right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, or how much experience you have or don't have, you can start creating today. Not only is it simple, it's totally free. I decided to start my podcast with Spotify, and it's helped me reach hundreds of thousands of people. So download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. For more business English resources like articles, videos, courses, and one-to-one coaching with me, head over to TanyaSuarez.com.